Hello, and thanks for viewing another edition of Holding Court. I'm Don Heath.
And I'm Rich McGowan. And Don, we had certainly a memorable weekend with the region championships this weekend. The 5As, let's begin right there with Groves and Savannah High.
Yeah, 5As over at the Savannah State's Tiger Arena posted two key games.
Yes.
Savannah High knocking off Groves in the boys. It was the fourth time the two schools met, and Savannah High and Groves now are 2-2. Savannah High, however, has the two bigger wins.
Yes.
They won the region regular season championship and then beat Groves also in the region tournament 62-51. An excellent win for Tim Jordan and the boys, and they're up now 12 wins in a row.
And another big thing about that win is with the loss. Now Groves is that number 2 seed, and it looks like if they win their first round game this weekend, looks like they'll be matched up against a very tough Valdosta
team, which is something like 26-1.
Yeah, that's going to be a task.
Yeah, losing that game was difficult. Put them in a difficult draw. On the girls' side of the 5A tournament, the Beach girls.
Proved me wrong.
Proved you wrong.
I went with Bradwell.
I think I would have gone with Bradwell too. Remember we were talking about 5 being better than 2, but 5 wasn't better than 1 this time. Monique Willis really put in a great performance. 23 points in a game that the winning team only got to 47, so she had half the team's points and was all over the court.
I mean, she's the kind of player, she has the athleticism where if she wants to, she can just take over any game she wants, and it sounds like that was the case.
Yeah, she got to the boards. She just imposed her will on the other team and made all 5 girls bowl for Bradwell. So it was a great win for Ron Booker, and that's, I believe, his 7th straight region tournament victory.
That's a pretty good string of dominance right there.
I heard there was just no excitement over at the 3A tournament.
Oh, God, it was so bland and boring. I don't even remember what happened. A couple weeks ago, I was complaining my lack of good games to see, and, well, I got my fill this last weekend. The tournament was full. I mean, there were 3 or 4 overtime games throughout. Spectacular individual performances all around, but honestly, any talk about the region championship has to start in the boys championship game. I've never seen another game like it. It was unbelievable. Calvary Day jumps out to a 28-0 lead. Country Day didn't score a basket till less than 3 minutes were left in the first half. I mean, they just could not get a basket to fall for them, and you could tell into the second quarter when they still weren't scoring. It became a mental thing. It sort of became a wonder. Oh, are they ever going to score?
Missing layups? Or?
Missing layups, missing free throws. I mean, you name it. It was like a lid on the basket. Nothing was falling, and Calvary Day couldn't do anything wrong. Cody Paget was fantastic from start to finish, but he had lots of help. Dominic Henfield made some nice rebounds. George Turner's turning into a really good point guard. Somebody you're going to want to keep an eye on come next year.
Right?
George Turner? No, he's not a freshman. He's a little bit older than that, but he's a nice, quick, nice developing point guard, and Calvary's got another player coming up in him. But then the second half is just complete reversal. David Torrea got heated up like you want to believe, and leads his team to an incredible comeback. I mean, they were down 19 entering the fourth quarter, and they forced overtime. He just got unbelievably hot from NBA range three-pointer. He couldn't miss. It was unbelievable. Game goes in overtime. Calvary Day eventually hung on and pulled it out. The sad thing is, though, Don, the knucklehead incident that happened in the fourth quarter with a couple fans came onto the court has really overshadowed this fantastic game. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I've never seen a high school game like this, but nobody's talking about it, and that's a shame.
Yeah, I think it was just a bad decision by a parent, and I'm sure if he had a chance to do it over, he would never do that again. And
it's unfortunate all the way around.
It's your son sometimes, and you see things that are happening out on the court.
It's an emotional situation, no doubt, and the game was certainly chock full of emotions, but you have to hand it to Cody Paget. After the whole thing, he stayed in his game, scored 10 points the rest of the way, the first 5 points of overtime, and really pulled his team through to the region championship. And on the girls' side, it also was a very good game, but honestly, I remember almost nothing about it.
Who did you pick in that game?
I may have picked Calvary Day girls to win,
okay.
but Country Day, of course, pulled out the 4-point victory. It's a well-played game from both sides. I don't think there was any lead more than 6 points the whole time. Sonny Kennedy of Calvary Day really kept Calvary in it. because Country Day did a nice job limiting Katie Covington's touches in the post. But I think Kennedy nailed 6 3-pointers and kept the Cavaliers in it. But the Hornets were just a little bit too much. Some nice play from Catherine Dodson and Melissa Burkhammer. And the Hornets avenged a couple earlier losses this season. And so they're feeling good about themselves.
And you know, the Country Day girls won the region tournament last year.
Yes, they
did.
And
like Dale Parker told me earlier this week, they won by 27 last year, but who's counting?
That's right. But you know, it didn't turn out so well because you know, Country Day lost in the Elite Eight. Well, Calvary went on to win the state championship. So there's really no telling what's going to happen from here, and it's going to be exciting the rest of the way. And we'll get to the state playoffs in just a moment. But I do want to mention, Don, the Effingham County girls. I mean, we've talked about them a little bit before. That I mean, you never know what to expect from them. They can, you know, turn it on any game they want and play with anybody. But they can also, you know, sometimes stub their toe badly.
They lost to
South Effingham and got thumped badly by Country Day before the region tournament. But you have to hand it to the Rebels. They made two upsets to win the region championship. First knocked off Glen Academy, and then went down to Brunswick and knocked off the defending the region host, Brunswick Pirates. I mean, so congratulations to Carl DeMasi and his girls. They've done a fantastic job this season, and I'm very interested to see what they do in the state playoffs. And if that team shows up and plays like it's capable of, look out for the Rebels. Yeah. Now let's take a look ahead to the state playoffs kicking off Friday night with the girls tournaments kicking off, and then the boys follow suit Saturday night. Don, taking a look at the schedule, what games are you particularly interested in seeing in the first round?
On the girls' side, I'm interested in that very first, the game that I'm going to. River, and please read that story of the favorite. It's Riverdale is at Bradwell Institute. It'll be interesting to see how the Tigers bounce back. Riverdale, you know, from another part of the state, the Atlanta teams always get a lot of ink for the girls' play, and we'll just have to see. Bradwell's an excellent team, 5 deep, like we've talked all season long, and but they were humbled a little bit by losing that game to Beach, and we'll have to see how they recover.
And also, I think it's very important for Bradwell to win a game or two in this year's state tournament, because they're bringing back a lot of those girls next year. They only have 1 senior starter. They've got a couple players coming off the bench. This is a great opportunity for Bradwell to get some experience playing in the postseason. And if they do that, I think next year they could really make a run for themselves and see how far they can go. But I think to do that, they have to win a couple games.
Point guard Mariah Maternick is just a sophomore.
Only a sophomore.
And an
it's scary.
Player, excellent ball handler.
Indeed. And Friday night, I will be at Beach eating some humble pie, I'm sure, from Coach Booker for picking the Tigers to win the region tournament. But the Bulldogs are hosting East Coweta at 6 o'clock, and you know, Beach had bowed out earlier last year than I'm sure they would have liked. They were knocked out in the second round from Redan, I believe it was, if I recall correctly. And so you know Monique Willis and Clea Watson are going to want to do a little bit better than that in their final senior season. So I'm curious just to see how the Bulldogs do and see how far they can go. Boys side.
They start Saturday.
Yes.
And you know, we have several games here in town. Groves is playing Riverdale. It should be a pretty exciting game. Riverdale brings a 6'8", players already signed to play at Tennessee Tech, Terrell Barnes. And they have 3 other 6'5" players. So as big as Groves has been all year long, as far as height-wise, with Dominique Elliott and Nate Drayton, they're going to meet their match in a game that's going to be played close to the basket in the paint. Savannah High is playing Creekside, and that's no slouch. I believe Creekside started 2-7, but they've won 14 of their last 19, I believe. So they're playing well, despite being just a 4 seed from their region. And then Calvary and Savannah Country Day are at home, and they have tough matchups too. That region 4 is a very difficult region. Wilkinson County, one of the top teams, and the teams that Calvary and Savannah Country Day are playing lost to the Wilkinson Counties and Hancock Central. So that's what got them to be 3 and 4 seeds. So
even though Country Day and Calvary are on the home court, it's certainly not going to be a cakewalk for them in the first round.
Yeah, particularly for Country Day playing Aquinas. Aquinas was undefeated in its sub-region.
And Savannah Christian, you picked to win the region tournament. They had some tough luck in the region tournament, entered the state tournament as a 4 seed, and they certainly did not do themselves any favors.
No, they match up with Wilkinson County at the Palace.
Which should tell you all you need to know about that program. They play in the Palace.
I don't ever want to go and play somebody that's playing in the Palace.
And on the girls' side, I will be at Calvary on Saturday for the Calvary Day girls, and I'll see the Calvary Day boys as well. Calvary girls are hosting Georgia Military. They're from what I understand, they're a slow-paced team, very deliberate offensively.
Regimented?
That might be one way to refer to them as. But yes, the deliberate on offense, fairly stingy on defense. We're unsure if athletically how talented they are. I would look for Jack Hamilton to try to press the Bulldogs early on, try to get a lead, and make Georgia Military play more open up, out of their comfort zone style of game. So that's what I would look for at Calvary Day. Don, it's been fun. Region tournaments, if the state tournaments are anything like the region tournaments were, I think we're in for some fun.
I think so.
Thank you, everybody, very much for watching. As always, this is Holding Court, and we'll be back next week for another edition right here at SavannahNow.com/PrepCentral.